Any man of mine.
This is today's country.
At the State Address tomorrow at 11 a.m. on 13. Here are tonight's Cash 5 numbers: 5, 33, 24, 15, and 16.
And the pick 3 numbers: 4, 6, 3.
Coming up tonight, the Houston area battered by storms. Swollen bayous come out of their banks, sending floodwaters in every direction. Homes are flooded, and a daycare is evacuated.
The weather proves deadly on a very slick Interstate 10 where a packed minivan slams into 2 big rigs.
All of this coming on the heels of a tornado that whipped things around and left a wide path of damage in Pasadena. Destructive storms that will have us coping for days to come. Good evening, friends. I'm Dave Ward.
And I'm Shara Fryer. When bad weather strikes, count on Eyewitness News to keep you covered. Live team coverage tonight from Eyewitness News reporter Vicente standing by where floodwaters are threatening homes.
Our Chris Adams says cars are stalling left and right from high water. He's keeping an eye on that.
Standing by live in Pasadena where folks are coming to grips with the tornado that hit today as Eyewitness News reporter Cynthia Hunt.
And, of course, Ed Brandon keeping tabs on the entire viewing area from our Eyewitness Weather Center. Severe weather caught a lot of us by surprise today, and tonight some Houstonians are still trying to dry out.
The heavy rain sent Sims Bayou out of its banks and into the streets of a southeast Houston neighborhood. Eyewitness News reporter Vicente is there live now with the very latest. Vicente?
Sure, what a mess out here tonight. This is one of those neighborhoods where people drove in and realized there were going to be some big problems. Here's why. They tried to drive down this street, but it was very flooded. They couldn't get in, they couldn't get through, and as a matter of fact, right now, some of them are still waiting around, wondering how much water their homes and streets are under right now. Some of the worst-hit areas rested near Sims Bayou and Buffalo Speedway. The fast-moving storm caught a stranded 17-year-old Eric Jack and his sisters by surprise in their flooded home.
The water had rose so quick and fast and stuff. What we gonna do?
Pretty scary?
Yes, sir.
Now, part of the problem here along Sims Bayou tonight is that water, if it's not already in some of the houses, it's starting to surround them. There's water behind me, all around this house, and then it's starting to come out of Sims Bayou right over here on this side. Juan Sanchez's home tonight sits on what has become an island. He's not sure if he'll have to leave.
I passed before one floor like this, and they never come the water inside.
But all these kids at a daycare along Sims Bayou had no choice. Firefighters had to evacuate them on airboats and fire trucks.
The tires, you can't see the tires on most of the cars, so that's how high the water is.
You think that people here were having problems tonight. You ought to see what other people were having to do to get around town during this terrible storm. Our Chris Adams has been covering that story. He joins us now for that story. Chris.
Vicente, getting around this part of town has been a soggy nightmare. The fire department's here helping people. Why don't you take a look in this direction, up MLK Boulevard. You can see what happens if you try to get through this area. Basically, for people around here, there have been big problems with deep water. Reginald Green found out the hard way just how deep the water on Belford had become.
It just drowned it out. The water got too deep. Right, I got right there. Everybody was pulling off to that side. Somebody ran in that ditch right there.
On MLK, the fire department was busy with water rescues in the middle of the street.
A truck come by and it sloshed the water up and then the car died. And then I tried to start it and finally I run the battery down trying to start it.
All over southeast Houston, they were stranded or struggling to get somewhere. And mostly what they got was stuck. Now, the Houston Fire Department has issued a warning. It's advising everyone to stay at home. They'd rather not have to rescue you tonight if they can avoid it. Reporting live, Chris Adams, 13 Eyewitness News.
His bad weather being blamed for 2 deaths, both of them on the interstate near Mont Bellevue. Investigators say that a minivan carrying 7 people was rear-ended by another car as it was heading west toward Houston on I-10. As the van spun out of control, it was struck by 2 18-wheelers. 2 people in the van were killed. 2 others were rushed to area hospitals. Neither of the truck drivers was injured.
The people in Pasadena recovering tonight from that tornado that touched down there this afternoon.
The storm struck a school, a church, and several businesses, all near the intersection of Spencer and Preston. And that's where we find Eyewitness News reporter Cynthia Hunt, who now joins us live with the latest there. Cynthia?
Well, Shara, at this hour, about 5,000 people here in Pasadena still without power. But they say that's nothing. They're all thankful to be alive. Take a look at this building. People were inside this building this afternoon as that tornado struck. You can see the massive damage here. This left a lot of business owners just trying to recover. What was your store called? This store owner is in shock. He and his partner just found out the insurance may not cover the contents of their store.
He's got the biggest risk involved, the most monetary money, and, you know, that's the biggest thing involved for him.
Water was the big problem here tonight. As you can see, cars stalled in the flooded streets. This woman was left to walk home barefoot in the rain, and this man couldn't even get home to see if it was damaged.
It's just a little scary. I mean, I don't know what's waiting for me at home, and
There's no cleanup here yet because the rain's been coming down ever since the tornado hit. But when it does let up, there'll be a lot of bizarre things to clean up like this. This is a car with its windows blown out. It has a mattress on it and has aluminum siding wrapped completely around it. Tonight, people coped by describing the tornado. Listen to their amazing stories.
It got under a desk and stayed there. The ceiling started coming in. The glass was breaking throughout the building.
Wait, debris in a circle. Huge sheets of sheetrock.
Never know what'll happen. When you wake up and everything's going great in the morning, and then you look at something like this in the evening, it lets you know about life.
Despite the damage, people are thankful no one was hurt. Cynthia Hunt, 13 Eyewitness News.
I'm Deborah Wrigley. It struck at 3:45 this afternoon. Disaster with its deafening trademark roar, a tornado.
You ever seen Twister? It's like just being there in live action.
The funnel cloud moved west across this section of Pasadena, brushing by one health club, shattering its glass windows.
Power kept going on and off, and then it got real quiet, and then you can hear the tornado come through, then the rain picked up again, so it just textbook tornado.
But the biggest casualty was a storage warehouse. Concrete walls heaved inwards, and then
the mini storage building just went straight up.
And what did you do?
Well, about that time, the debris went across the road and the lights went out, and we all ran back into the middle of the building.
The building is a loss, but remarkably, along this path of the tornado, no serious injuries were reported. The tornado lasted for moments, the rain for hours, and now, in addition to the wind damage and the frayed nerves, the final insult of today's weather, rising water. From Pasadena, Deborah Wrigley, 13 Eyewitness News.
This same storm also ripped up a nearby church. You can take a look at it now. The Golden Acres Baptist Church on Pansy suffered heavy damage. The tornado tore up the roof. It brought down the church steeple and collapsed a brick wall. 3 people were inside the church when that twister hit, but no one was hurt.
And stay with ABC 13 for continuing coverage throughout this newscast of the Pasadena tornado and the flooding.
As we said, a lot of people caught off guard by this afternoon storm.
Here's Ed Brandon with a check on our forecast.
It's cold and getting colder right now, windy and 46 degrees here at ABC 13. We'll drop into the 30s before tomorrow morning. Here's a live CamNet shot of a very wind-blown camera atop the First Interstate building downtown.
Also, find out why they're used to rebuilding at that Pasadena church hit by a tornado today. Plus, a confession tonight by funnyman Bill Cosby, but nobody's laughing. Then the Oilers won out sooner than later, but will the mayor let them?
You're watching Channel 13 Eyewitness News. Live with the entire Eyewitness News team. This is Channel 13 Eyewitness News. We care about Texas.
Hello, man. Now we're going to be looking at some walking video. One of our photographers walked into a home with its roof ripped straight off. You can see the side of the house torn off too by the tornado. Just devastating damage to this family's home. Power lines were downed all through the Pasadena area. 17,000 homes are without power tonight. At the height of the storm, 20,000 homes in Pasadena were without power. HL&P workers, as you can see here, fresh from that ice storm damage of a couple of weeks ago, now trying to restore power after this tornado in Pasadena. Never a dull moment in the Houston area weather-wise. Stay with News 2 Houston. Frank Billingsley and I will continue to cover this story for you throughout the newscast. We'll have updates throughout the newscast, and we'll have more tomorrow on Daybreak beginning at 5 a.m.
Coming up.
Harris County, southeastern Fort Bend County, northern Brazoria County, Galveston County, Chambers County, and Liberty County. We've had reports of rainfall up to 6 inches in some places, the heaviest so far, according to the Doppler radar estimate at the National Weather Service, from Fort Bend County across into southeastern Harris County. You heard earlier Chris Adams say that the fire department is recommending that you not travel, particularly in this area this evening, because you simply might become a subject for rescue if you try to cross a a flooded intersection. Vicente Arenas is out this evening with some folks who were not in time to get that warning. Vicente.
That's exactly right. And if you look behind me, you can still see people walking along this street here, and people lined up all to my right here. They're basically trying to get down this stretch of Fuquay off of 521. And if you come around this way, you can see that there are certainly plenty of wreckers down this street, and still certainly plenty of people trying to get back to their homes. This area was particularly hit very hard this evening. This is a section of the street that had some very high waters as a result of all the rain, and back further into the neighborhoods that we're not able to quite show you right now because the water is indeed so high. There is some very high water and many stranded cars. Over here there are some wreckers standing by getting ready to pull some of those cars out. There are some cars here that were basically just left abandoned. Many people tonight still wanting to get home, and they're hoping to do that pretty quick because it is wet and cold out here. Reporting live from South Houston, back to you, Ed.
Thank you, Vicente. Generally, if you travel south of South Loop or east of East Loop, you run the risk of getting into that type flooded situation. This is what it looks like from the top of the Transco Tower, looking down at the intersection of West Loop and Southwest Freeway, where things are all right. Our low temperature this morning, 64 degrees. High this afternoon, 78. Not officially, unofficially here at Channel 13, we've had about 2.22 inches of rainfall. Keep in mind, our low last night was 64. It's already down to 45 at Intercontinental Airport. 46 here at ABC 13, 49 degrees at Hobby. The dew point 44 degrees, relative humidity 83%, winds northerly at 23 miles an hour. Those aren't gusts. Sustained winds of 23 miles an hour. Barometer 30.15 and rising. It's because of the front. The cold front is moving through our area right now, and temperatures are dropping like rocks. 35 at College Station, 28 in Dallas and Abilene, 19 at Amarillo, 23 at Lubbock, 29 at Midland. South of the front, still in the 50s on Galveston Island, but those temperatures will drop fairly rapidly. A good view from satellite of the thunderstorms as they erupted really rapidly over the southeastern corner of Texas late this afternoon. We will still have some residual clouds tomorrow, but the cold air is on the way, and it's going to be here for a while. Our temperature will drop into the upper 30s tonight. It will stay in the 30s most of the day tomorrow, maybe topping out at around 41 degrees. There'll still be a 40% chance of rain with very windy conditions tomorrow. On Wednesday, mostly cloudy, low 35, high 43. On Thursday, partly cloudy, low 35, high 52. That false spring is over. Winter is back.
All right. Thanks, Ed. Well, as we told you earlier, the Golden Acres Baptist Church in Pasadena received heavy damage to the outside of the structure. However, it's expected that church activities inside will continue as planned.
Our reporter Liz Exon was out there, and she tells us what happened there today.
From Sky Eye, you can see how the twister hopscotched over the roof of the Golden Acres Baptist Church in Pasadena. On the ground, you can see how lucky it was that no one was outside in the parking lot. The entire north brick wall was peeled off, church windows blown out. The steeple on top of the church ended up on the pavement. And this had been newly remodeled?
We just went through a little bit of a $500,000 renovation program. That was a brand new steeple sitting over there. We can replace buildings, we can't replace people.
Pastor Royce Measures was one of 3 people in the church when the funnel hit. He says 2 large cedar trees uplifted like they were feathers. Youth pastor Bob Kistner says it all happened in an instant. He knows it could have been much worse.
But inside it's intact. If they can get the windows boarded up, we'll run the vacuum cleaner, I guess we'll be okay for Sunday.
Part of the church roof flew into the air and slammed into a yard across the street. A van was crumbled by the debris, and so was a compact car right near the house.
What'd you do to take cover?
Well, it happened. We didn't know what was going on till it was over with.
You're lucky your windows didn't bust out and hit you.
Yeah, we was lucky. Nobody was hurt.
Heavy rains continued to pound the church through the evening, but fortunately the windows and holes in the roof were covered to prevent any water damage. In Pasadena, Liz Exon, 13 Eyewitness News.